Bye. Hey, Professor Anton, thanks for the reply. I just watched it. Um, okay, well, the thing is, you study media, right? So, frankly, I know a little bit about this media. I got on it in 1984 when I got my first computer. At 13, I worked for an online game company in 1991 in research and development. It was started by Sierra Online, probably the first, and that was an interesting experience because being before the internet, uh, being a commercial, publicly available thing, we had to create the email and everything. I saw the whole ecosystem in sort of a contained way where it's very difficult to see the ecosystem and to have that scope and all the parts within. Um, so, you say one of your complaints is really about the drama on YouTube, but this is why I made this comment. You study media and I think have an interest in online new media, right? You say somebody sent you an email. And they never sent you an email when I made a point against one of your arguments. They send it, oh, you better answer this, it's drama. See, I know that. I knew that, how that would turn out. I knew that that would happen. Now, as far as it being complaints about ego, I share that. I have a very drama-free channel. Um, Probably more drama-free than yours at the moment, but that's not a criticism. I think drama is an important part of all this, and I've considered that maybe you're onto the fact that there's some sort of reagent quality to drama and this kind of the flashes of ego, while at the same time it seems to distract and burn the real argument. Okay. So now in my video, as far as it being about ego, I gave a couple questions about language, challenges back. I want to challenge you back. You tell me what it takes for me to be serious on language. And I'm not from your tradition. I don't take the way you put that seriously, but you tell me in your video, everybody you tell, we have to answer those questions that way in order to be taken serious. So I gave you a serious enough challenge back. And I don't think I'm making a complaint about the time you spent on YouTube. I don't watch the videos, all the videos of the people I subscribe to, and this is a side thing for me. I get busy. I've been busy lately, making a presentation, and I still make videos, and I'm not watching videos. I don't feel as bad as you seem to, but I guess sometimes I feel like, oh, it's kind of bad because I want to react to people. Sometimes it's great online. You could take a few days or weeks to answer somebody. Sometimes it's too late and the opportunity's gone. But mostly I think that's no loss. I don't think I'm asking you to spend extra time. I'm just pointing out that I gave you a channel as something you presented. You mentioned me, so I assume you'd seen the video. You mentioned about my ideas, you comment. I don't feel ignored or that it even matters, this getting respect thing. It's more that you put up a channel, and I've gotten to the point that I had so many thoughts about it without interacting directly with you enough to resolve or wonder about them with you, that I'm just going to bundle them up and put them out, and suddenly it's a critique. You could be a film or anything else. You're a bit of media, and I'm going to critique it. And especially when I had this personal recollection of a feeling of just how I used to be very anti-elitist, and the sort of elitist we're about to enter the club attitude of philosophy graduate students to me was astounding, compared with the fact that there were some people that whatever, I thought their philosophy was crazy, but they all seemed so solid anyway, that those grad students were where those professors were coming from. And it made me realize, too, some of the things that were okay about the professors was really just because they hadn't been provoked into this situation where they're supposed to prove themselves. And I think one of the things I was taught as a result in school was how very smart people try to manipulate what the methods are, what the toolkit is for manipulating other smart people. I see you as the perfect person to challenge on this and talk about meta again, because one, you were the focus, so it's not a manufactured thing, and two, you study media. Okay, you wonder why people have sock puppet accounts. I wonder how you don't know that, and so we could share information. There's a tradition of anonymity. Do you know about the history of the crypto anarchy and information wants to be free, and these traditional sort of libertarian ethos of netiquette, these are all at play, and people seek to not be restricted in any way, including by their own previous statements. Now, I don't do that. I have one channel here. No, I have another channel I've started for some software projects that I never really use, but it's certainly not a sock puppet so that I can make comments and appear to be a different person. And this element of role play is tremendously important. And one of the most interesting things is among people that do not want to role play and want to be themselves, then you're acting your own ideal. You're still role playing this role that you imagine that you are. So it's an ironic, interesting thing that sometimes the people putting on the thickest masks are also putting on the thinnest mask, because we see that it's a mask. And if we ever see behind the mask for a moment, that feels more genuine than somebody that doesn't seem to be wearing a mask but is actually behind some sort of veneer, which, as I say, is inevitable. So yeah, I mean, I meant, you talk about our, I can't argue that you should, or that it would be productive to reply to my challenges. But as far as commenting on your channel, you put these challenges and criticisms out there, and you could take time to take part in something that you complain about, the drama. You know what I do when somebody sends me those PMs? Nothing. I probably will go watch the video because it's a very low threshold for me to go watch the video. To reply, I'm less likely to reply. People want to pump up the drama, and you succumb to that. So maybe you have something to learn about the new media, and that's not a bad thing, right? I have some things to know, to add, and some things to learn. Now, I agree we have different backgrounds. I have a philosophy degree and a career even longer than I started before the degree. When I was in high school, started working and worked my way through college as a programmer. And I definitely think in terms of a cognitive science framework with an embodied mind, and the mind is physical, and I take that in. You could call it my metaphysics. Of course, I don't really believe it's a metaphysics, but because it's judged physically. But what would be the problem with trying to get some compatibility? What would be the problem with trying to get some compatibility between these terms? If I'm saying material, and the term is different, so you don't even answer that question because you're sure you don't understand the question, then why wouldn't it be beneficial to iron those things out? Why wouldn't that be worth the time, that some drama? These aspects are all familiar. I have a user. I'm surprised at who it was, but he's mad that I've challenged you. You want to talk about the ego thing? It's not you and me. It's not people. Most of the people on the camera, even their ego trips. And the real ego trips are among the people that start to associate or have identity with how they feel about what they're seeing among other. When I'm a commenter, I'm more part of that ego letting loose than as a video maker. And so people are feeling they have to side with you or come back, and there's various obvious comebacks. One of which is, of course, anytime someone wants to reply to me, you can always go, well, don't. But see, I'm saying more than that, and I think it's an opportunity. It's one of the ways I test the system here is I put that out. You can go with that, but you can also, which you haven't, but I mean some people will go with that. And, you cannot see the other stuff. Now, you haven't really gone with getting angry and dramatic with me, which was really very smart and I think very wise. But you didn't engage with the substance still. So I made a complaint that you didn't engage with the substance. You engaged with the drama. I appreciate the reply and the acknowledgement, but I really wasn't going for the ego boost of proving that I could get your attention that way. What I really was doing was making a critique. But if I wanted to have a change in the situation as a result of the critique, it would be that if you put something out there that you should recognize as challenging, you have to do this to take seriously. And I say that whole thing isn't serious. That would at least rate as high for the time you do spend on YouTube as commenting on a more dramatic factor. Anyway, thanks for the reply, and I hope you understand. And I certainly don't think there's anything you have to apologize for. I think there's just stuff you have to take responsibility for, like perhaps you are not defending your ideas or presenting your ideas in a way that justifies you claiming them to be like the only serious way to look at a subject.